What's going on, everyone? Welcome to another episode of the MPower Show. I am Markeith Brayton of Markeith Brayton and Company,
And I'm Donzaleigh Powell with D Connects LLC.
and we're excited to be with you again at NECAT, Nashville State Community College Studio, for this episode. And Donzaleigh, we are at the end of the year almost, 2022.
Wow, time is flying by.
Time is going by so fast. And we didn't want to end the year without doing an episode on how to end the year strong and start the new year empowered. Y'all see how we did that? Start the new year empowered. But yeah, on the serious note, it's something that people do every single year, New Year's resolutions, planning, all the things. And so I thought it would just be good to have a conversation about, how do you really end the year strong? Because it's not over. We still have, as of today, we still have something like maybe 40 days left of the year, a little bit more than 40 days. And a lot of times during this time of year, there can be a little lull where people just kind of settle in and just coast until the new year. And then they expect that the new year is going to bring all this new vibrancy and everybody's in the gym and everybody's doing this and that. But we thought that it would be good just to kind of share, hey, how do you end the year strong and not just coast and start the year empowered? So before we do that, how has your week been?
Oh, has been very good, very productive. Kind of stayed on track. I've just recently bought myself a new juicer,
Okay, Juicy.
yeah, gonna be introducing that in again. Used to do it back in the day, but sometimes it can be cumbersome. But I think it's worth it, so I'm gonna give it another try.
Yeah. I think for me, the past couple of weeks, I just really have been focused on Markeith. What is it that you really want your life to speak? Honestly, like the past couple of weeks have been very introspective for me. One, it sparked from a conversation that my mom and I had. I was at her house. I'll let you all in to my life. I was at her house and we were watching The Voice. She loves to watch The Voice. And I was kind of singing along with the guy and she kind of was like, why'd you stop singing? Why'd you stop doing this? You could be making all this kind of money. You're just so talented, this, that, and the other. I was like, well, where is all this coming from? And then she just kept going on and on about the many jobs that I've had over the course of my career and different things like that. And it made me start to think about my journey. And what I walked away with from that conversation was that sometimes people get stuck in what they believe life is supposed to be. And my journey, for all intents and purposes, is not traditional to what my mom thinks your journey should be.
Yeah.
I did go to school, did go to graduate school, I did have good jobs, but it wasn't enough for me. And I don't know that she fully gets that. I think that she does, to some degree, feel like all I did was jump from here to there and everywhere. Whereas what it was for me was that when the season is up, the season is up.
Willing to
That
let
if
it go.
it's not serving me anymore, there's no point in me continuing to stay in a space, in a spot, in a place, in a job when the season is over. But yet I'm talking to somebody who loves her kids, raised us, but she stayed at the VA hospital for 45 years. So my journey is something that she just really doesn't understand.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Same with my parents. My mom retired from Bell South. My dad from the state. Like, it was stick it out no matter what.
No matter what.
And then here I come along.
Yeah.
I decided I was I was leaving. I'm doing this on my own. They're like, what? I didn't even tell them for the longest.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
didn't even tell them.
So that's a little insight into my own personal life, but it's not about me, it's about you. And we want to just share a little bit around this whole idea of how to end the year strong and how to start the new year empowered. But before we go into the episode, we're going to take a quick commercial break and we'll be right back. Hey, just popping in real quick to say two things. Thank you for listening to the Maximize Your Brand podcast each and every week. And number two, I want to let you know that I am offering a brand new program called Laser Coaching with Markeith Brayton. I know you have dreams, I know you have aspirations and things that you want to do. And sometimes you just need a little bit of accountability to get you moving in the direction that you desire to go in. I can remember back in 2014 when I first got laid off my job, I had a decision to make. Was I going to pursue my dream or was I going to go back to the 9 to 5 rat race that I just did not enjoy? And the only thing that really helped me to make that decision was that I invested in myself and got coaching. And that coaching was tremendous in my making the decision to keep going and pursuing my entrepreneurial dream of becoming a professional speaker and a digital personal brand coach. And today, I want to make that same offer and opportunity to you. That if you're ready to move to your next level, if you're ready to learn how to leverage your personal brand for a business, then this opportunity is great for you. Laser coaching with Markeith Brayton. It's a 3-month time frame where you get up to 15 to 30 minutes unlimited laser coaching. But there is one caveat. You have to make sure that you finish the homework from each coaching session before you schedule a new one. And once again, it is for a 90-day time frame and it's unlimited coaching, 15 to 30 minutes. You can schedule as many as you want as long as you do your homework in between the sessions before you schedule your next session. So if you are interested in laser coaching and this offer, I want you to go to markeithbrayton.com/laser coaching. That's markeithbrayton.com/laser coaching. And let's move you in the direction that you want to move in, because sometimes you just need a little bit of accountability to help you along the way. I look forward to seeing you signing up for Laser Coaching with Markeith Brayton. Welcome back to the MPower Show as we are talking about how to end the year strong and start the year empowered. So Donzaleigh, when you hear me say how to end the year strong, what first comes to mind?
To me, it still goes back to the planning.
Mm-hmm.
And I plan throughout the year. However, typically around this time, I to do more of a planning for everything, like really just taking a step back, throwing all my ideas out there, seeing what I want to weed off, what is a priority, what do I need to bump up as far as time, attention, money, whatever it is, and really start to focus. That way, by the time the new year gets here, that locomotive is already rolling. Yeah, because things do change throughout the year. So, and that's why I like to visit it periodically. But typically, I'm visiting it more from either the individual business or individual tasks that needs to be done, or maybe some to-do list type things. Not just taking an overall view. Like, have things changed? Have my priorities changed? Where am I spiritually? Does that need to move up? Have I put some things on the back burner that I'm going to have to build into the schedule, even though I don't have time? That type of thing.
Yeah. End the year strong. When I think about ending the year strong, I think about what can I do to maximize the last few days as an entrepreneur to bring in a little bit more income.
Right.
Because did you know that the fourth quarter of the year is the highest revenue generating quarter of the entire year.
Yeah. Yeah.
That people make more money during the fourth quarter of the year than they made the whole year. And so learning how to, I think like a business. Because I've been in my business full time since 2018, so going on 5 full years. And I can't say that the great majority of that time I've actually thought like a business versus just kind of like a freelancer
Right.
doing projects here and there. And so I'm learning more and more, how do I really start running the business as a business? Even though it's a personal brand business, you can still run the business and operate as a business. So when I hear that, for me personally, I hear, what are some ways that I can maximize these last final days to generate new income in my business? Now, maybe you don't have a business, maybe you are an employee. You still can have that same mindset around, what can I do the end of the year in this job to possibly ensure a next income raise in the new year?
Absolutely.
Or what conversations can I have right now, these last final days of the year, especially if your fiscal year is January to December? What conversations can you have with your supervisor or your boss around that?
And we've had conversations about investing in yourselves, but even sometimes a conversation is literally, it could be an investment. So whether that might be trainings that they have, maybe you say, hey, I would like to go back to school. Does the company match in some type of way? A lot of those things can be thought about and discussed in order to kind of see, is it a good fit? Is it something that could really happen to kind of help you?
Yeah, that's good. End of the year strong. We'd like for you to put in the comments, what are some things that you do to end your year strong? Also, when I think about ending the year strong, I also think about SMART goals. And some people say they don't really like SMART goals because of that one part is specific, measurable, attainable,
when it's a
realistic,
I think people
and time bound. And people struggle with realistic. But I don't really struggle with the realistic, because I think that sometimes we do set unrealistic goals.
Right.
For example, let's take it to the gym and weight. That you have been, let's say you've been 500 pounds all 2022. And then your goal by February of 2023 is to be down to 250. That's unrealistic.
It's unrealistic.
That you're just going to shift your mind.
Even with surgery, I think that's unrealistic.
Right? Or we could take it even to income, business. I think for me, I understand as an entrepreneur why they say set goals that make you afraid, right? For me, it would be unrealistic for me to set, I personally believe, $1 million in a year goal for 2023 if I've not done 500,000.
Right. Yeah.
That, let's say I've done 150, and then 2023 I'm going to do $1 million.
Yeah.
One, there's a mindset shift between 150 and $1 million that I'm sure I don't have anything that I may know about. Two, I think it'd be more realistic to go from 150 to 350. So when I think about when they say SMART goals and the realistic aspect of it, I'm thinking more about what have you done, and ideally, what can you not necessarily do more of, but what can you strengthen that you did in the 150 to help you get to the 350?
Right. Now, I'm good with the SMART goals. I agree. Some people do definitely struggle with the realistic. But one of the things that I remember, one of my favorite videos is one that Will Smith did, and it's like a motivational video, right? And in there, he's talking about how realistic it wasn't. At one point, it wasn't realistic to think that you were going to bend metal and people fly over the ocean.
Right.
So what is really realistic? But so I view it personally just more as, yes, I want to set a realistic goal, but then I also say, also create what's a stretch goal. So yes, you have something that is a bit of a stretch that you're like, okay, I got to push to get here, but ideally I want to be here, but I'm not going to beat myself up if I don't get here. Like my goal is to at least get here. If I can go even further, awesome, that's great. And so I kind of look at it like, let me set the bar, but then what's past the bar? If I was to get past the bar, what would that be? What would be success for me if I was to get past it?
Yeah, yeah. So end of the year strong, SMART goals. End of the year strong. You said, the whole planning piece. I said, thinking about how do I maximize the final days, end of the year strong. End of the year strong also, when I hear that phrase, also says you take time to connect the dots. Steve Jobs said this. He said that I was not able to connect the dots until I was able to look backwards. Meaning that it doesn't make sense to you as you're going through it. It makes more sense to you after you've gone through it and you look back to connect the dots.
Absolutely.
So end of the year strong, I think for me is, what is it that you can reflect on now to help you connect the dots so that in 2023 or in the new year, you can start again a better way?
Now, one of the things that I do each year has been, I've done different workshops. So first, I would say around 2015, I was doing some time management workshops and things like that. And then it's kind of morphed, and now I do what I call the Vision Manifest Tour, which is basically encompassing goal planning, action items, habit creation, and it does include a little bit of what you're talking about, almost that connect the dots. But I look at it from the perspective of why are we kind of the way that we are? Why have we been? What are some of those external things that have happened that have influenced us? And then what are some of the internal things, just personality, determination that varies from person to person, right? That is not always the same thing. And so you've got this mix that's going on in each individual. So really taking a look at that so that you're aware, oh, you know what? Like you mentioned, my parents were like this because they were living in an age that was different from us versus what we're dealing with now. So, but really being aware, that's how I was trained. I was told this over repeatedly. And how has that made my mindset? It may or may not be right, or maybe it was right during that time, and maybe now that things have changed. So really taking a step back, like you said, just to say, okay, here's where it was. Does anything need to change? Or what can I do better? Or what do I need to adjust in the way that I've been thinking in order to get to where I'm trying to go? So I think that piece is very important. And I try to start that in the beginning. That way, as we work towards some people have short-term goals, some people have long-term goals, and they're trying to find that track to really be productive. And my thing is, you always have those people, new year, new me, you've always got that. But a lot of times the fire goes out pretty quickly with that. So my thing is not just coming up with the goals, it's the what's going to happen that's going to keep you going. Got to keep going.
Got to keep going. And so those are some things for ending the year strong, that you want to connect the dots. You want to set SMART goals that we talked about, or whatever type of goals you feel like you want to set. You want to make sure that you reflect on the year so that in the new year you can start again a better way. And I get that from Benjamin Franklin. He was like, I failed, 5,000 times, but each time I learned something new to start again a better way. And then you also, just want to make sure that you take time out to know that the year's not over. So maximize the days that are left. Now, how do we start the new year empowered?
I think part of it is, again, just that mindset shift. Sometimes I think we really don't believe in ourselves. We say we do, or we say, yeah, I can do this. This is my goal. I can do it. But you really don't believe it. And if you don't really believe it, again, you burn out quickly because as soon as something isn't quite going, oh, I didn't lose that 5 pounds I wanted to lose in a week. Forget that. I'm not even going. I'm going to stay in the bed. I'm going to eat the bonbons, whatever the case may be. So really get into that place to where you have to believe that. I tell anybody, I did a TEDx, and one of the things that I talked about is, in fact, the whole title was the art of basically a mindset, basically having a strong mindset, because it's so important.
Yeah.
If you're not able to kind of really fight through things and really be determined and really, whatever your mind says, this is what I'm doing, the ball just starts rolling and the trajectory just starts to go. So I think it's huge. So really get into a good place in your mind to where you're like, I'm not quitting. I'm not giving up. I'm going. This is what I want, and this is why I want it, and it's no giving up. Yeah.
And to help you with that mindset, starting the year empowered, is go ahead and, hey, what are the 12 books you're going to read during the new year? 1 book a month. I recommend 1 book a month that is personal development. That's going to help you to become a better person. That's going to help you develop that right mindset. That's going to help you outside of, and it could be scripture in the Bible. I'm a believer of reading scripture every day, but I'm talking about something outside of the Bible. What are 12 books that you want to read or you think that would help develop that mindset for you to have a empowered new year?
You'd be surprised. Other people's perspectives and experiences can definitely help you. Now you can take or leave, whatever you choose to take or leave, but even just being exposed to it and saying, oh, here's somebody that has been through something similar. I like the way they did that. Maybe I need to look into it, or I don't like the way that they did that. No, I need to go another way. But just learning and being open to kind of doing a little triage as you read and or watch podcasts or whatever the case may be, wherever you're getting your information from, I do think can help for sure.
Wow. Empowered, starting the new year empowered. Yeah. The next thing I would say to start the new year empowered, you should have a exercise regimen.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
That I'm a firm believer. I am a firm believer in exercise and training. That the last year and a half, I have at least made it to the gym to work out at least 4 to 5 days a week. But now I've shifted my mindset because the people I've been hanging around is that I moved from working out to training, which is different from working out. And how is it different, Markeith? It's different because I can think back to how much time I wasted working out to how much benefit I get from training in less time.
Okay. That's amazing.
So having a new year that's empowered, I think everybody should incorporate some type of exercise, physical fitness regimen.
Yeah. And I think one of the things I can remember back where you're going to need energy to do all these goals, right? Yeah. Like we're just sitting here talking about what all we're going to tackle, how we're going to do it. If you got to go to bed as soon as you can't even do anything else, you got to look at why. Let's take a look at why. Are you eating the wrong things that have just drained you and you're sluggish and you haven't been drinking enough water? It really can. So it's not just working out. It's the balance of the proper nutrition intake and just think about it. With all of the healthcare issues and things that are going on in today's society, you want to avoid that.
Yeah.
As much as possible. You can't necessarily avoid everything, but you want to do your part. Is the way that I see it.
Yeah. Empowered. How about you?
Empowered. I would say still, I always revert back to definitely being faith-based. And I to me, that's always a piece of it. Not to say that's everything, but is a piece, or that's a starting block for me personally, just in feeling, I guess, fulfilled as a person, feeling complete, feeling like, you know what, I can do this. And one of the reasons that I can do this is because I feel led. I feel like I am in line with whatever that pathway is that he's led for me. And you've mentioned before about seasons, being willing. If the season is over, the season is over, and being okay with that. And I have this quote that I love to say: "Every ending is a new beginning."
Every
And
ending is a new
accept
beginning.
that. Be okay with it. Like the more that you're able to accept that every end, and in the moment, of course, that can be rough. That might be a loss. That could be a loved one. That could be all kinds of things. But every end is a new beginning. So just really taking that and running with it is usually, it helps me to get to a place to where I'm like, yeah, but it's always that but. And you've talked about gratitude as well. It's like, yeah, oh, that kind of stung, but I appreciate this, or yes, I'm still going to do this, or yes, in their memory, I am tackling that. So that's
Yeah,
kind of how I look at it.
yeah. Something that I definitely want to do more of that I've not done enough of, and that is having a new year empowered is really entertaining or identifying me a good therapist.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
Somebody who I can talk to on a regular basis outside of, friends,
Right.
family, whatever. Someone professional to help identify if there are any blocks.
Right.
Because one of the things that I even notice in my business, like I get to this point every time, and there's some reason why I'm not getting to this point.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
So I'm like, I need to find out whether or not there's something I'm doing to block myself from moving to that next level.
Yes, that's good that you are even open to that and working through that.
Mm-hmm.
Because sometimes I think what I've seen and what I've heard from people that have been in the process of therapy, it can put you in a place that now you're having to feel things that you have not felt because you've kept it in. You suppress. You don't even realize that you've been keeping it or bottling it. And so talking through, especially with a professional that's able to kind of ask the right questions and make you think and feel, it's a process.
Yeah.
And not always a glamorous one. You might not feel great during, but then as you work through it, then it gets you to another level for sure.
Yeah. Therapy is, I think it's key.
important.
It's something that many of us don't talk about.
Yes.
It's something that I don't remember my mom ever
Oh, no.
talking about, therapy or getting therapy. But I think as time has gone, it's become, I don't want to say it's become cool, but it's become something that's people have become more familiar with.
Yeah, and you got to realize we're living in a day and age that we're bombarded constantly. We're bombarded. Well, I personally don't watch the news, but if you do, you're watching all the crime, all the things that are happening locally, nationally, across the world. Like it literally, sometimes it can be a lot. We've gone through COVID, so you're dealing with all of these some things that have been around for a long time, but some that are new. And so you're trying to adjust. You might still be trying to balance your job. You've got kids. The kids are dealing with things that we were not dealing with. And so you have to help them as the parent or as the caregiver, whatever the case may be, or the teacher. You're just getting hit with a lot at times. And so I think sometimes having that outlet it's important.
Well, any final last empowered things for the new year? How to be empowered in the new year?
I think once you get to the place to where you're able to clearly identify what is important, where you want to be, what you want to do, like have that overarching, I have my path. And then, like I said, just really, really, really try to work on getting down to the nitty gritty as far as how am I really going to make it happen. I think a lot of people, they have these dreams, but have you heard the quote, a dream without a deadline? It's just a dream.
It's just a dream.
So you really have to think about what needs to happen and literally put all of those down. You might not be able to tackle them right away. That's fine. But at least you have that path to know these are some of the steps that I'm going to need to take and continuously work on it.
Well, how to end the year strong and how to start the new year empowered. But before we go, we always like to leave each episode with a word of encouragement or an inspired word. And I'll start us off today. And what I want to share with you is that seize the moment.
Mm.
Carpe diem, as they say, that today is the only day that you have. Yes, the new year is pending. Yes, the end of the year is coming. But today is the only day that you have. And I want to challenge you today. What will you do today that will make your life impactful, that will make your life exciting, that will make your life enjoyable? Because today is the only day. And not to be morbid, but you and I have no control over whether or not we wake up tomorrow.
Absolutely.
We celebrate every morning that we wake up, but we don't have any control over tomorrow. But we do have control over the day that we are able to open our eyes and breathe the air. And so I want to challenge you today to seize the moment. What's something that you can do today that is towards ending the year strong, that is towards starting the new year empowered? What can you do today, right now, this moment? Seize the moment.
Mine is really quick. It's actually very similar. Mine is just go get it. Go get it. Like, literally. Sometimes we put stuff on the back burner and we keep waiting and waiting and waiting until it's perfect. Done is better than perfect. Go get it.
Go get it,
Yep.
go get it, go get it, and seize the moment. Well, we want to thank you for joining us for this maybe a little brief episode, but we just wanted to make sure that we encourage you to, hey, end your year strong and start your new year empowered. If you have not subscribed to the channel, hey, click that like button and subscribe to the Empower Show, because we just want to continue to build this. We are starting out with just me and Donzaleigh mostly, but we're going to have interviews of with other individuals to share their insight and expertise. But we want to make sure that you're familiar with those of us who are the hosts of the show initially, so that you can get to know us a little bit better. But once again, subscribe, like, share all that great stuff. Share it with people who you believe will get good value out of today. But until next time, I like to always end every episode with this. Always shoot for the top, because it's the bottom that's overcrowded. Take care.